Anyways, I think you had an idea about charities. I think that's interesting because I know that
Yes.
you work with a lot of charities. I work with charities as well. The reason why we met because we were talking about a charity RFP. So you have this last idea on the list. It's about charities. I'm pretty interested in hearing what you have to say.
So this one is called Fun and Sexy Charity Fundraisers.
Okay.
So what comes to mind when you think about these charity fundraisers in general? It's usually a lot of depressing vibes.
Can be a little depressing at those things sometimes.
Even like when you look at food drives in these grocery stores, you're just putting stuff inside a giant bin.
Yeah, like what is that at the grocery store? That's crazy. I mean, by the way, have you ever put money or like put things into those grocery store bin things? I've always felt like it has to be a scam, right? It's like there's no way that food, like there's some catch. I know that Loblaws is not doing something right there. Like there has to be a catch. I don't know.
Whenever I think of these like charity fundraisers, it's really just like these traditional old-fashioned type of efforts that's really just like here's a cultural problem, so if you want to fix this problem, come donate to us. Or like, oh yeah, help fix the hunger in the area, come donate your non-perishable foods at the food drives. But like in the end, it's not really addressing to these like core issues to operate these charity organizations, because in the end of the day, they need like monetary donations in order to actually pursue their programs, to actually either implement capital into infrastructure or like create these program efforts that can help solve the problem. When I think of these, like just using food banks as an example, one of the insights is that they have these off-peak seasons where people aren't donating as much food or money in general, for example, in the summer. And to me, one of the best ways to disrupt this food drive space is really just like make interesting events that just instead of just like donating food, make it a bin to just donate foods. Like so many people are doing things outside and they will pay for activities to do. Like families will actually pay to go to a park in the woods to go camping or like just take a hike. Well, there are also these free kind of like tennis courts or now pickleball courts. You could theoretically create a agency that just helps, or like it could be any events agency, or like expert that's just used to finding places. We went to Markham's Unionville Festival at one time, and they just had a setup at the parking lot for us to play pickleball. In the city, if we just like have any, not garage, but like parking lot, to get the parking lot owner to donate that day for us to do something interesting, I'm sure like the property owner might like be interested, or like the landlord might be interested in doing like an interesting food drive driven event that's just like pickleball.
No, I see something there. And pickleball is obviously a pretty low barrier to entry sport. I don't know if that's like something that's a sport that you're really like keeping your eye on, but you know, I'm pretty sure the like setting up a whole like pickleball court like with rackets and everything is probably less than a few $100s to, you know, like really put that all together there. Yeah, that's a pretty interesting angle there. I wonder where does the virality come into all of this though?
I think the virality is really just like within the community themselves, where you're kind of latching on to a local issue and then creating these like localized events that are addressing these local issues specifically. Because I remember there was this development firm that was sitting on these plane hangars.
Okay.
Usually they just like sit on it and then nothing is going on because it might just get turned into a condo one day, or like someone might buy it from them as an investment. Sometimes they do these like community driven programs that are like movie nights inside the plane hangar.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
I remember like one time they even had like a ice rink inside the hangar for you to literally ice skate within that area. As a community driven effort, anything that's just like fun and interesting, like a community movie night or like rollerblading effort, you might just like generate a bunch of like community driven revenue within that like just activity. Meanwhile, like no one else is really just like donating money to the grocery stores that are trying to do these food drives.
Well, because everyone knows now that, like, I think when the general public started kind of realizing that it's all for tax write-offs, I think people started saying no at the grocery store. Like, yeah, I think I'll donate myself. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's really interesting though. And with those events, like, you don't really always need to have anything capital upfront for them, because like, okay, pickleball, that's cool, that's a cheap idea, and you could definitely generate a good like thing for a charity there. But for somebody who's maybe wanting to run with this idea and they want to start it out on like the smallest level of scale, where like they don't even have like $10 to like spend on this thing maybe, then what I would do is I would look at the example. There's somebody in Toronto who does tours of old malls, and they basically call it like liminal space tours. And they charge pretty standard pricing, like for if you go on Eventbrite and there's some outdoor community thing, like sometimes there's like photography walks and stuff like that. $20 is a pretty normal price range for something like this. And this guy, he started out doing tours of malls and things like that. What this has now become is he takes people on school bus tours, and literally like 50 people go to random malls around the GTA with him, just to look at them and be like, wow, look at how run down this mall is, basically. I mean, there is an artistic and creative angle to it, but I mean, ultimately, that is what it is. And I think that's just such a great concept, what they did there. I'm not saying someone should take that idea and go with that, but there's a framework there for just like, hey, how can you put on an event that actually does give value to people and they find it interesting? I think having a whole charity angle is just going to make things easier for people in general, for just like, yeah, I'll spend $20 on that thing that gives me nothing. Yeah. I don't take home anything, or it's a photo walk. Take photos, you take home what you have on your camera, basically.
To me, it's like, am I really gonna pay like the ticket for Canada's Wonderland, or like would I rather just like stay within my neighborhood, and then do this like either pickleball or like whatever fun event that has like within my local community that is also for a local cause.
Yeah, no, 100%. Maybe people who are listening to this right now, there's a lot of people that do just put on events in their community like that. I know someone who does beach volleyball down the street from me. They haven't like taken any angle to this. They don't charge anybody for it. You just get a calendar link, and then you just go to it. People like this, I mean, they might be interested in just like, hey, well, yeah, it would be cool if this was like also a charity thing and people come in. It's like, oh yeah, paying $10, and then there's something happening for charity there.
I think like this entire theme is a great facilitator can make mundane things interesting. Like whether if it's like an events organizer or like the liminal tours guy.
Yeah, he must be amazing. I haven't been on any of the tours, but if people are coming on buses now, like he's good. He's obviously good at what he does. No, that's very true. Yeah, you need that. That is a pretty critical thing. You need a good facilitator. You need somebody who's just going to be good at engaging everybody in the event. But yeah, there's definitely something there. That's a pretty good one. I'm gonna rate that one on the thumbs up metric.
Okay.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as not a
One thumbs up.
All right, I think that's it. That's all our ideas.
That's it, huh?